Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe. Click on that little subscribe button and thumbs up. And well, tonight, Piston fans, I have two words for the game: snake bit and screwed. We're just things cannot go right for us. Our guys fought hard. Cade had a monster game through three quarters. I think, and we had some players really step up and play. Grimes had a great game. I don't see nothing wrong with a little Quentin Grimes. But 37 seconds left. Grimes drives in there and makes a tough drive to put us up by one in the fourth quarter. Grimes had 14 points all in the fourth quarter. And we'll talk about more about that later, that Monty stayed with him in the fourth quarter. But anyway, the end of the game, they miss a shot. Ball's falling out of bounds. It probably got tipped by us. Grimes makes a great play to jump up in the air on the baseline and save it into Fontecchio. Fontecchio gets the ball in his hands, and Hart smashes his hands and takes away, just grabs him right by the arm and knocks the ball away. So the ball kicks out. The Knicks get it. Asar steals it, and he starts heading up court. Cade is wide open, right ahead of him. Asar fumbles a little bit, but DiVincenzo submarines him. I mean, I think it would be called a chop block in the NBA, but he just dives right into his legs, and they get the ball back, and then I think Brunson grabbed the ball and he whipped it to somebody under the basket, and Hart scored a layup. Hart, who fouled Fontecchio, and I get mad. One of the announcers for the Pistons, he said that he should have made this big circle, and that's what you should do. But the second he grabbed the ball, Hart immediately chopped his arm. And like I said, Asar's coming up the court. He had the ball in his hands. They're going to try to say he didn't have the ball in his hands, but DiVincenzo, still, you can't just dive into a guy's legs. And so Monty finally showed that that he cared. He said that was an abomination, and he said he just wants a fair game, and that wasn't fair. He said, "I'm done." Of course, we all know that it doesn't matter how bad we get. He said he's sick of the same thing, and that was Exhibit A, and he said enough's enough, and he stormed off after the press conference. But I give you credit. He will get fined, and thank you, though. And after the game, they had Kelser on, and Kelser applauded Monty for sticking up for his team. So, yeah, it was a tough one, 113 to 111. We've lost these last two games. They came right down to the wire, and our team played tough. Our defense has been better. Our defense is better, and that, at the end of the game, a lot of the time we had Grimes and Asar out there, two exceptional defenders, but anyway, we still lose. And I will say, Cade had 32 points. He had at one time he was like 6 for 6 on shots, and he was like 4 for 4 on threes and 5 for 5 on free throws or something. He had 20 points at halftime, but then in the third quarter. And I'm not criticizing Monty for this. He played him the whole third quarter. He played the hot hand, and he missed his last 3 shots of the third quarter. And so, do you blame it on being tired? There's a good chance of it, but I'm not criticizing him. And I'm not criticizing him. He benched IB in the fourth and played Grimes the whole fourth quarter, and I'm not against that either. So, IB played okay. He didn't have the greatest game, but he was only 3 for 10, but he was 7 for 7 on free throws. He's been having a little bit of a slump here. But here's my thing. You can always play. Chuck Daly had Vinnie Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and Joe Dumars, and he played those 3 guards, and he just rotated those 3 guards, and it's easily done, Monty. I'll give you the formula. There's 96 minutes for the 2 guard positions, so each guy could play 32 minutes, and you just start Grimes on the bench, take one guy out with about 6 minutes in the game, then bring Ivy back, and it happens. Chuck Daly did it, and then if one guy's hotter than the other guy, you play the other guy more. And obviously, probably Cade would play 34 minutes or something, but anyway, it just can be happening because again tonight, our all bench unit, all bench in the first half. Quentin Grimes was minus 14. Fournier was minus 12. Flynn was minus 12. Wiseman was minus 10. And again, the guy that we have from the Ivy League, Awama, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but he played him. That was very interesting. He only played 8 minutes, but he got to play a couple times. They didn't play. But why do we have to play 10 guys? Why do we have to play 11 guys? I don't understand. And so I think we got this last game. We play the Bulls on tomorrow. And again, it stinks. We have these games, but the Bulls have been good. Bulls have won. Their record's not bad. They're 27-30, and they won 5 of the last 10. They beat the Pelicans Sunday night, 34, and the Pelicans are 34-24, and they beat them 114-106 on Sunday. So here's what stinks, though, is again we play in New York, and that game was originally supposed to be in Detroit, but New York was getting gypped out of one of their home games because of something to do with the in-season tournament. But we got to fly to Chicago and play the Bulls on their home court. So, that scheduling, that's like a scheduled loss. I'm not saying we're going to lose, but even if the two teams were even, when one team plays back to back and has to travel from one city to another city, it's just as a big disadvantage. And we have this young team, but I like the way we're playing. It's fun to watch these last two games. It's heartbreaking. It stinks that we lose these games, but our guys are out there fighting. They're playing good. And I mean, of course, we can't expect, like I said, Cade, first half, he didn't miss a shot, and he had scored 20 points. But yeah, he did score in the fourth, and he made some bad turnovers in the fourth, and he maybe kind of tried to force it. But I still get sick and tired of Jalen Brunson, the Channing MVP, and he's a good player. I'm taking nothing away that he's a good player, but he expects and he gets every call. Anything that resembles a foul, he gets to go to the line. So he was 10 for, he didn't have a great game. He's 11 for 26, but he scores 35 points because he's 10 for 11 from the free throw line. And he just drives in there and he just knows he's going to get a call. He just knows. He just kind of jerks around a little bit and then they blow the whistle, and they're cheap, crappy fouls. And Cade drives in there. He did get some free throws tonight finally. So that was a good thing. But it was, yeah, they in the fourth quarter they were blitzing him and doubling him a little bit more, and he, I don't know if he's still tired, but it was just hard. Like I said, he missed his last 3 shots of the third quarter, and then he didn't score in the fourth quarter. So, and he had 32 points. So that he's showing he's playing like an all-star, and it's too bad, but that we lose. And so hopefully he was interviewed after the game and he said, I don't have anything to say, really. And he knows he had 5 turnovers, which is too many, but a lot of them came at the end, and it's real hard. I know he's been playing less minutes, and I wanted him to play more minutes against the Magic, but he didn't. So anyway, yeah, it was heartbreaking. But we have good things happening. Fontecchio had another good game, so we like to say the difference between being good and great or good and bad is consistency. And Fontecchio has been, so far for us, good consistently. 33 minutes, 5 for 9 shooting, 2 for 5 on threes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and 12 points. That's just a good game. He's just a good player. And they left him out a little bit longer at the end, and they had Fournier playing with Asar. So I feel bad for whatever reason. Some players are just hated, just like Fournier is hated in New York, and he has a record for 3-pointers in a season. He had some great years there, but they don't like him, and he's not a great defender. But I don't know what Anyway, they booed him all the time, and but Asar was 36 minutes. I just wanted Monty to play him 30 minutes, but he played 36 minutes, and he was 3 for 5. And he was 1 for 3. And I don't want him to shoot threes until he gets better at it. And at the end of the game was on the line. Last 2 minutes, he nails a 3. So good for you, Asar. But he's 0 for 2 from the free throw line. And again, these games, every point is important. But he had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and I don't know if he had any blocks, but he did have 4 turnovers. Of course, that last play when DiVincenzo submarined him, that counted for his turnover, I'm sure. So, but he was 7 points plus 3. Duran didn't shoot good. He had tried to make up some tough shots. He's, I feel bad for him. He doesn't shoot that much, but he was 4 for 11, 31 minutes, and that's not good. 3 for 4 from the line, but 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 0 turnovers, 11 points. That's a game. So he's, we got these young players. Asar had a good game. Cade had a great game. Duran had a great game. Bentecchio's playing good. Grimes turned it on in the fourth quarter. I was hoping he had a good game tonight, and then he started out the first half and he was bad. He has his. I'm not sure what he had. In the first two games with us, it seems like he had a bunch of threes that went in and out, halfway down and popped out. Well, that happens when you don't have good rotation on your shot. If you have good backspin on your shot, it hits the rim, it sucks it right into the basket. And again, I watch millions of players shoot for the last 60 years. I've been watching players shoot the ball 50 years, 55 years. But anyway, it's just something I've seen consistently. And you get that if you snap your wrist, the ball flips off your fingertips, and you get that good rotation. So I'm not sure if he wasn't getting it, but he started nailing them in the fourth quarter. So Cade, 36 minutes. Again, so how tired was he? He played him the whole third quarter, but he was 10 for 19. But before the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, his percentage was phenomenal. So he was 5 for 7 on threes. He's been on a heater from the three ball. So that's another great sign. 7 for 8 on free throws. So he finally got to shoot some free throws. 5 rebounds, 8 assists, which is super. 2 blocks, but he had 5 turnovers. So that is too many. And three's the number that he should have. But I think again, was he tired? Was he getting doubled and not enforcing things at the end? I'm not sure. But he's a great player, and that's all I know. He's a great player. And Jaden Ivey, 24 minutes only. It's the lowest he's played in a long time. But again, for once, I'm not as concerned about that because he's 3 for 10, 1 for 4 on threes, 7 for 7 on free throws, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, only 1 turnover, and 14 points. So still a good game, but he needs to get it going. We need him. We need him to score, and he's got the ability to. So I'm not sure why things aren't working out better for him. So Flynn, Malachi Flynn, 12 minutes, 3 for 6. I'm not positive. I was going to find my sheet, but I didn't. But I have a feeling that he has identical stats 2 games in a row. That he, not minutes, but he, I think last game he was 3 for 6 and 1 for 2 on threes and 1 for 2 on free throws. That's really weird to go 1 for 2 on free throws and 1 for 2 on threes and 3 for 6 from the floor 2 games in a row. That's just kind of weird. But he had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 8 points, -5. Again, my thing is do the 3 guards, do what Chuck Daly used to do, play Grimes and Ivey and Cade 96 minutes. That it works. So there's Quentin Grimes, 24 minutes, 4 for 9. Again, he didn't make a point in the first half. 3 for 6 on threes, 3 for 3 from the line. He got fouled. Bogey fouled him on a 3-point shot. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 2 turnovers. That's a stat sheet too, stuffer. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. For a guard to block that many shots, but he scored 14 points. And Fournier played 20 minutes, 3 for 5, 1 for 3 on threes. And I like it when he gets a clean, good look at the 3 when he's shooting on balance. But he shot a couple of, he only shot 3, but the 2 he missed, he was drifting and fading sideways and backwards when he shot it. So he had only 0 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. So that's not a good game. So Wiseman, 17 minutes, 2 for 4, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 points. So he played better than he did against Orlando. But the weird thing is, so here we are. We shoot 48% to their 44%. So we outshoot them from the floor. We shoot 47% on threes. They shoot only 38%. So we outshoot them from the 3. Free throws, they shoot 76% and we shoot 81%. And we're 21 of 26 and they're 16 of 21. So we score more from the line and we lose. So, but it is the killer points off turnovers, 30-8. So if we just cut down those, we had 17 turnovers. They had 14, but our turnovers, too many of them, they end up scoring off of. So that was a big killer part of the game. I know at one point they were 20-5 on second chance points. But when I said they were snake bit, like on that last play, there were several balls where they chonged it on the rim and it kicked way out further. We had the position that you normally would want to have, in the paint. We weren't too crammed under the rim, but the ball just bounced and was deflected way outside, and so that's the offensive team's just kind of standing out there, and they get the offensive rebound. So that was tough. It just especially early on, it seemed like every ball that just was there to be grabbed, we didn't quite get it, or if it was going out of bounds, we barely tipped it. Two guys were there, and it always was off us. And I just disappointing. And I want we got to win these games, and it's just going to be hard because we have some real tough games scheduled still. I know I haven't looked at the whole schedule. I got to look at that, but I know the last 11 games, 9 of our last 11 games are on the road, so that's not good. And we only have like 25 games left, and so we got to go to Chicago and play tomorrow. So anyway, Pistons are looking better. There's room to be optimistic, and it'd be interesting to see how the league reacts to Monty. But it is frustrating that Brunson can just drive in there, and it's just the superstar call. It's been happening since the beginning of time, where superstars drive in there and there's no contact, and they get a whistle, and then a guy that's not a superstar, but especially Cade's not a superstar yet, especially because we're a losing team, and teams get the short end of the stick when the other team knows who's supposed to win. I mean, I've talked to referees; they know who's supposed to win. So anyway, appreciate you listening, and be the reason that somebody feels loved and cared for and listened to. And let's go beat the Bulls tomorrow night.